You're listening to the Daily Sales Tips podcast, and I'm your host, Scott Ingram. Today's tip comes from Armand Farrokh. Armand is a director of sales at Carta and host of the 30 Minutes to President's Club podcast. In his tip last week, I told you that it was part of a 3-part series. That was actually wrong. That tip was about cold emails. Think of it as a bonus. Here now is part 1 of Armand's 3-part series on cold calls.
Morning, everybody, and my name is Armand Farrokh. I'm the host of the 30 Minutes to President's Club podcast and the director of sales over at Carta. Today, your actionable tip is all about phone openers. And so the first thing is most people are going to open with things like, did I catch you at a bad time? Or how's your day going? The bottom line is it's always a bad time for a cold call. And I don't care how your day is going because everybody knows I'm trying to set a meeting. And so what the prospect cares about is themselves. And so I'm going to give you 2 different openers you can use. The first one is my personal favorite. Now, it's my style. I'm a little bit of a bulldog. And so the first one leads with heavy context without actually introducing yourself. And so it sounds something along the lines of this, is find your top buyer trigger and then pull that to the front of your intro. Then introduce yourself and ask if they've heard your name tossed around because you're in their network. So for example, if my top buyer trigger is somebody having a mutual investor, it might sound something along the lines of, hey, we work with a number of Andreessen portfolio companies. It's Armand at Carta. Have you heard our name tossed around? And so the reason you introduce yourself afterwards is the thing that people care about the most is what you know about them. And when you introduce yourself with context instead of your name and your company, they immediately sit up instead of it's Armand at Carta, which turns on the telemarketer. The second one is one that I typically like to use after somebody tries to swat me away, or they say, I'm busy or I'm not interested. Those are not real objections. Those are dismissive objections. And so the second opener, or one that you can even front load at the beginning, is, hey, I'm sure I didn't catch you at the perfect time. In fact, I almost never catch anybody at the perfect time. Can I get 27 seconds to tell you why I'm calling? And then you tell me if this is a fit. That's my tip, guys. If you want to help us out, go on 30mpc.com or search for the 30 Minutes to President's Club podcast. We're going to have Scott as a guest soon, and you should absolutely listen in. Cheers.
For a link to Armand's podcast and to connect with him on LinkedIn, just click over to DailySales.Tips/503. Next week, we'll feature part 2 of this cold calling series. And of course, you can always come back tomorrow for another great sales tip. Thanks for listening.